Back on BTN Live, it is time to reveal the Big Ten Coach of the Year. And as we already kind of hinted at, there are multiple Big Ten Coaches of the Year as the media and the coaches do not agree. We're going to go with the pick of the fellow coaches first, and that selection is the head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Tim Miles. He took a team that was picked dead last in the preseason, as Jimmy alluded to, in what was an informal media poll, and took them all the way to a fourth-place conference finish and a first-round bye in the Big Ten tourney. The Huskers appear to be bound for the NCAA tourney as well. After Sunday's win over Wisconsin, it would be their first trip to the Big Dance since 1998. The team that had won just 9 games in its first 2 years in the conference won 11 this season, went 15-1 at home. The only blemish, a loss to Michigan, and they had a shot to win that one in the closing seconds. Their victory over the Badgers, their second over an AP Top 10 team. First time they've won more than one in a season in 20 years. The Big Ten Coach of the Year, as voted on by his fellow coaches, Tim Miles, the Nebraska head coach, joins us now from our studio in Lincoln. Coach, congratulations on this award. What does it mean to be awarded it by your peers?
Well, it's unbelievable. I mean, I think I must have paid him off somehow, but it's just a humbling thing because I see all these guys, and obviously we're not there yet in terms of their class and what these guys have proven, but it's a neat, humbling thing for our program. And, of course, I think it says a lot about your players and the buy-in from your players because those guys have to go against those guys. I just see our weaknesses and where we have to get better. So I think you have to attribute your team a great deal on how they played. And, of course, your assistant coaches, the guys that do all the background work, whether it be the video guys or the ops guys that do all the work behind the scenes. And certainly coaches get a lot of blame. We get a lot of credit, but this would never happen without just being surrounded by great people. But the fact that your peers voted you Coach of the Year is just, I don't even know how to react to it. I'm speechless, which almost never happens.
Yeah, that scene was amazing yesterday. What's your lasting memory of that game going to be?
Probably Sean Morris and I getting pushed up against the scorer's table from the court storming, maybe? No. That was, I felt sorry for Sean because I thought he was going to get mauled. I think just the idea that the look on the players' faces as they came back to the huddle time after time again, you just saw such confidence, such exhilaration, such excitement. And then all of a sudden they'd refocus, Somebody would get a big dunk or maybe Wisconsin would have to call a timeout. We'd come in and you'd see they were just so fired up, like a small child is fired up. And then immediately they'd kind of compose themselves and refocus and reconfigure and get ready to go out and compete again.
Your personal journey is such an amazing one as a coach. Mayville State, Southwest Minnesota, places that a lot of people, frankly, haven't even heard of. You don't have any famous mentor pushing you along. You're kind of a self-made coach in so many ways. What does it mean to you to reflect? And I know your journey is far from over, but what does it mean to you when you reflect and think about getting to this point?
Well, incidentally, I kind of see the Big Ten as a league like that. When you look at John Beilein and Tom Izzo was a Division II guy for I don't know how many years, and Bo Ryan
sure,
was a Division I guy, and then they got fired, and he ended up being a Division III guy, and you just the one thing about Mayville State or Southwest Minnesota State or even North Dakota State as a Division I independent or Division II coach is that I was lucky that when I started coaching. Jim Kretschmann was our athletic director at Northern State in Aberdeen, South Dakota, where I was an assistant. Bob Olson was the head coach. And they ingrained such simple characteristics and blueprints about how to build things correctly. And you can apply them to a business. You can apply them. I was a fundraiser for a while, an athletic fundraiser, or certainly to building a basketball program. And the recipe never has changed. The recipe's always been surround yourself with good people, right? Coach them the right way and leave the locker room cleaner than it was when you got there. And the right people will notice. And if they don't, the janitor will appreciate it. And there's something to be said about making the janitor happy.
The Big Ten Coach of the Year as selected by the coaches. Tim Miles, been a pleasure following this story to this point. We look forward to seeing as the next chapter unfolds as well. Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it.